Red Bun means we're live, a casual take with your boy Stephen Pepper, here to give a take off my chest. So let me ask you guys this, okay? Why would anyone want to be an NBA head coach in today's era? Why? I mean, with the Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, and now Michael Malone firings all for no reason, and they're pretty successful. The league is straight up telling us that coaches are as expendable as the floss we used this morning. And don't even think that a coach of the year or a freaking championship extends your leash, because it doesn't. Get this, Michael Malone is the third coach in just this decade to be fired 2 years after winning a title. And if you were to extend it to the last 10 years, Malone is the fifth coach to be relieved of his duties within 4 years. And the coach of the year, guys, oh my gosh, 3 of the last 7 winners were fired within 2 years of receiving the award. Is that not nuts to you guys? That used to straight up never happen back in the day. Those kind of accomplishments would make you a made guy. But today, they mean nothing. People always like to say, well, explain in NFL terms. Okay, imagine if the Rams fired Sean McVay 2 years after they won that title. You couldn't. You couldn't even fathom it because it would never happen in the NFL. But in the NBA, it happens all the time. It's unhinged. Like the fact that Doug Peterson fired from Philadelphia 2 years after he won that Super Bowl is like the only example that comes to my mind right now. Speaks volumes to how the NBA poorly mistreats their coaches. Now, listen, is Michael Malone some perfect coach? Of course not. But we need to understand that even the best coaches are all flawed, and they can only go as far as their roster takes them. And for a lot of these guys, like Malone, they get dealt overrated hands from their front offices, and they immediately get fired as soon as it gets rocky. They're given no grace, and it's nuts. It's nuts to me. Frank Vogel, say what you want about him. I think he's a heck of a coach. Won the title for my Lakers in the bubble. That second year, he gets fired because they missed the playoffs. He couldn't make the Westbrook fit work. Well, the Lakers continued to lose even with a new head coach until they got rid of Westbrook. Mike Budenholzer, again, I had my differences with him in Milwaukee. But those 2 years after he won that title, when he got fired by year 2, his stars were never healthy in the playoffs. And it's the same reality that Milwaukee still faces now 2 coaches post Budenholzer. And now we're here with Michael Malone, the winningest head coach in franchise history. 10 years of service, the only man to bring this franchise a championship, and it was just 22 months ago. Fired. 3 games before the playoffs, and they're in the freaking 4th seed in the West. Why? Oh, well, because the Nuggets are sliding. It's true. The Nuggets are sliding. They're supposed to have championship expectations, and they're straight up unraveling. Post All-Star break, they are just 11-13. They're a bottom 10 in defensive rating, and they're currently on a 4-game losing streak in a stretch where Jokic is averaging a 40-point triple-double, and they can't win a game. That's not good. But can someone help me out and explain how the losing is pointed to Michael Malone and not general manager Calvin Booth? It's Calvin Booth, not Michael Malone, who extended Jamal Murray that max extension, a guy who always hobbles into the playoffs. He's hobbling right now. It was Calvin Booth, not Michael Malone, who let all of Michael Malone's championship defenders in the last 2 off seasons leave. It was Calvin Booth who couldn't provide Michael Malone with a competent backup big to Nikola Jokic. To me, Denver's rapidly closing championship window sounds like a Calvin Booth problem, not a Michael Malone one. But thank God the Nuggets did fire Calvin Booth yesterday, but they also fired Michael Malone. They gave him the boot too, straight up cleaned house. And I have to ask, why? You're trying to convince yourself, the owners, the Crockies, that they're trying to win a championship still in 2025, but they just fired their championship head coach. Wouldn't you just rather go through it with Malone in the playoffs and then reevaluate in the offseason? But no, you fired him because you wanted a spark. It's the same damn excuse that Memphis talked themselves into when they let go of Taylor Jenkins. And can someone ask them, in that interim head coach that they think highly of in Memphis, how it's going for them? Because they're like the 7th, 8th seed now. They're in the play-in. But when they fired Jenkins, they were tied for the 4th seed in the West. I know it's tight, but still, they lose in the play-in. They don't even make the playoffs, by the way. Same thing for the Nuggets. They fired Malone yesterday when they were the 4th seed, and they're in danger of falling all the way down to 8. They lose in the play-in, no playoffs. And they fired their championship pedigree head coach. You guys know I just always back these NBA coaches. I only believe a coach in any sport, but particularly in the NBA, should only be fired when it's clear that he is holding this team back from their potential. But when I see guys like Michael Malone, champion, was a game 7 away from his 3rd Western Conference Finals appearance last year, just get fired right before the end of the season when you got this MVP in his prime, it makes no sense to me. And it just speaks volumes to how the NBA just poorly treats their head coaches. But let me know what you guys think about this situation. I appreciate everyone for tuning in this episode of A Casual Take. Follow my social media, stay updated on all things related to the show. Till next time.